Hi everyone, I'm Adam Foley. I work around the Puget Sound helping people figure out how to buy homes. I'm a real estate agent. I'm talking with Jolene Messmer with Movement Mortgage. Our passion is really giving people information so that they can make an educated decision, and it can just feel so overwhelming, the whole process, especially if you're new to this. So I just keep stressing to people, you can talk to me without feeling like you have to buy a home.
Right.
Like, I'm a resource here, and so are you.
That's right.
And you need these type of resources when you're in that process, because it can be a little complicated, but it really isn't if you go step by step. So I wanted to talk to you today about just really what is the first step to starting this whole process.
Yeah. So if you know somebody who's 18 years or older, has a minimum credit score of around 620, and has a JOB, we can help them get into a home. Did you hear me say down payment?
No.
I did not say down payment, because we have so many wonderful down payment assistance programs out there.
And I think that leads us to our first house buying hack, which is the down payment. For $1 million home, 20%, $200,000, that's so hard for a young family to save up sometimes. So that's, again, this is why I wanted to film this. This is why I want to get this information out there so that people can know they can buy now. They don't need to wait. Yeah. When I say that, I think it can sound like we're selling something, if you know what I mean. It's like, I'm a realtor, you're a loan officer. There can be this assumption we're like convincing people to buy a home. But I truly feel that, and I've done deals like this with you, where it's really people are like, I have to rent. I can't afford to buy. I have to rent for another 5 years. And that's just wasting money. I just really wish that they knew these tools earlier. So can you tell us about down payment assistance?
Yes.
And when that can work for a family?
That's right. So I want to touch on one thing you said. Yeah. Rent is 100% interest. When you rent, that money goes out the door every month, and you get nothing for it. When you buy a home, you get appreciation between 5 and 6%, and you pay down your loan every single month. So you're growing your equity on month one when you're purchasing a home versus renting, you get none of that money back. So 100% interest is what renting's about. So let's talk about cash to close and cash getting into a home. So we've got over probably 6 or 7 down payment assistance program. The number one down payment assistance program is called the Covenant program. And the way that works is you can get up to a 20% down payment. Okay, that means no private mortgage insurance when you put 20% down. The program can cover your closing costs, your prepaids, and your down payment. Wow. Now, it's pretty spectacular, but it's very specific to Washington State. So you have to have lived here April 1968, or your grandparent or your mother or your great-great-grandparent, and you have to meet some other requirements. So that's our number one down payment that is remarkable until they run out of money. The other one is we've got an FHA and conventional and USDA and VA all have zero down payment options that can pay towards the down payment plus closing costs and prepaids. So there's so many to explore. Some of them do have income restrictions, meaning you can't make more than X amount. Say one program, your household income needs to be $180,000 or less. But I also have one that's a movement mortgage down payment assistance that's no income limit that people can access.
Well, I think the takeaway is that there maybe and probably is an option that you don't know about. And that's why I always encourage people to start talking to a loan officer. When people are looking for houses, they usually start online, right? On Zillow, they're browsing forever. Are you one of those people, a Zillow browser?
I'm not.
No, okay.
I'm not.
I feel like there's people that are or aren't, you know? And
it overwhelms me.
Oh, really?
It does, It's so much information, so many homes. Then I'm like, I'm not in the market to shop. Then I'm going to fall in love with something, and I'm going to beg my husband to buy it, and then he's going to say no, and then we're going to get into a fight. You know how it goes.
Well, that was kind of my point, is then you fall in love with the home, you get excited, or you just feel overwhelmed, like this is out of reach, you know? And so if you're starting a home search or thinking about starting a home search, I say talk to a loan officer. You may be surprised, and for me, that's really the first step. One thing that I love is co-buying.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how that works and which situations that applies to?
Yes. So I love this topic because I've got young nephews that I'm educating them every month to listen to Auntie Joe to help them buy a house, hopefully next year. And co-buying is one of the features because sometimes people need help with a down payment. Sometimes people need help qualifying for the loan, and sometimes people need both. Okay? So when a parent wants to help their young adult get into a property, a lot of times they'll give them a gift. So they can give them as much as they want as a gift. And there's some gift taxes that exclusions they don't pay any taxes on, which is a win-win for everybody. And another way is they can go on the loan application as a non-occupying co-borrower to help them qualify for that home with that mortgage payment. Because a lot of these young adults have roommates, or they have a partner they haven't necessarily made their life commitment to quite yet, but that current partner is a participant in that monthly rent payment. But one person may not qualify on their own. So instead of adding that partner to the mortgage and having that 30-year commitment to each other on paper,
that's a big commitment.
It's a big commitment. A parent can step in. A friend can step in. An auntie can step in. Anybody can go on the loan. And fun fact, 26 different people can actually go on a purchase and sale agreement.
Wow.
How about that?
That's like a small commune there.
Right? So you can ask a lot of co-borrowers to help you participate in buying a home.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to tell that to people now. You can buy a house if you move in with 26 people.
Yes, not 27.
Yeah. So talking about educating people and how to buy a home, one of the major factors for qualification is monthly payments. So you have lots of great strategies for lowering those monthly payments so you can qualify for more homes. So let's give us an example of one of those.
Yeah, great. Okay, so to get the lowest monthly payment, a couple of key things to be thinking about. You can buy down your rate over 30 years. That's called a permanent rate buy down. Okay, so let's say today's rate is 6% and you want to buy it down to 5.75. There'll be a cost to do that, which you can pay for it or the seller can pay for it if it's negotiated. Another way to do it is having a temporary rate buy down. So let's say today's rate's 6% and you can do a 2-year rate buy down. On year one, your interest rate and payment will be based off 4%.
Can I pause you there?
Yes.
Because temporary rate buy downs, I use those all the time. They're so helpful. And I'm kind of surprised more people don't use them, honestly. If you can get, a percentage or maybe even 2% off that 6% and then refinance later when interest rates come down, I mean, that's going to save you, pardon my not technical language, but a stupid amount of money over time.
The best part is that, so the temporary buy down does need to be paid by the seller or the builder, okay? But when they prepay this, they're basically prepaying your mortgage for you, right? Because the rate's going to be based off 6%, but we're only charging you 4% because the temporary buy down funds will be held in an escrow account that gets applied every month to your payment to equal 6%. So year 1, 4%, year 2, 5%, year 3 to 30 is 6%. Now, let's say you do this and then the market shifts and rates come down and you want to refinance, but you're like, Jolene, what happens to the money that the builder paid or the seller paid for my temporary buy down? That money will be refunded back to you, whatever you didn't use. You never lose that money. I love that because the seller helps pay your mortgage payment for you for 2 years. And if you refinance in between, you get that money back as a principal reduction.
So let's talk about house buying hacks for if you're looking at like a condo or a neighborhood with an HOA.
Yeah, love it. So with condos, we have the 0 down, 3%, 3.5%, all the minimum down payments for those programs. And the number one hack for a condo, when you are negotiating a condo and you are really hyper focused on the lowest monthly payment possible, is a seller can actually prepay your HOA dues 12 months in advance.
Oh, from the seller side.
The sellers, Okay. So if your HOAs are $500, imagine not paying that for the first year.
Wow.
That's pretty meaningful. $500 a month.
does that help them with qualification for the monthly?
It does not.
Okay.
Nope, I still qualify them with the HOA dues.
Okay.
They just are not, they're just gonna, seller will prepay the full year upfront to the HOA company in advance.
Well, that's nice in a way because then it's baked into their budget.
That's
it's baked into their loan. So it's not like you're paying this and then going to be surprised by it later. Mm-hmm. Your loan is set up to pay that. Mm-hmm. It's just saving money for the first year.
Right. Another hack behind that I had a client do that worked for their budget is they did that every year. So, and it was actually the parent who is responsible for the HOA payment. So getting their young adult into the condo, their commitment to helping instead of going on the loan application and being a co-buyer, they said, I will take care of your dues and I will pay the bill once a year up front for you each year.
Yeah.
So that's how a parent can help support somebody getting into home ownership.
Yep, that's a nice way to build that generational wealth without giving your kids free money to spend, on whatever they want, making a plan, having that go towards something and setting them up.
The most important piece to this whole equation is talk about it, especially with this younger generation where their parents probably have a really low interest rate because they had the home in 2020 and took advantage of low rates, and all they do is brag about it to their children, and then their children are too scared to buy a home.
Yep.
I want to learn what your goals are.
Yeah.
I want to tell you how to buy a home. What do you need for out-of-pocket costs? What does timing look like? When does your lease expire? I want to understand where you're at and where you want to go so I can provide a roadmap for when you're ready.
Yep.
So our job is how, and their job is I'll tell you when I'm ready.
That's a good way to put it. And you use this phrase I love, which is a holistic approach.
Yeah.
I use that as well. I didn't think of such a cool term for it though, but because I really talk to people about the whole picture, because it matters. It matters if you think you can only afford a fixer-upper house, but you have little kids. Do you want to live in a house when you're working on renovations and things like that? So I really help navigate the whole process, not just writing up a contract and buying a house, making a plan that's smart for you and makes sense. And also it gives people a little bit room to dream. It's kind of like, how do you want your next chapter to feel? And let's see if we can make that possible in a way that's not so stressful or overwhelming you hate your life,
Right.
Yeah.
And the basic part about getting qualified for a home is understanding what kind of monthly payment you're willing to spend.
Yep.
And so a lot of people don't know the answer to that question, which is really funny. So a lot of times I help them with a little trick. Ooh, a new hack.
Okay.
So if you're paying, let's call it $3,000 for rent right now, and you don't know how much you can spend, and you're exploring this, I want you to pay your rent for $3,000, and then I want you to take $1,500 from your monthly paycheck, and I want you to put it in your savings for 3 months and see how it feels. Did your credit card go up those 3 months? Did it feel painful missing out on that $1,500? Or did you make it work and you decided that you don't need Hulu, Netflix, and HBO, you only wanted one, right? Like you cut back your bills and learned how to do things differently in your household.
Yeah.
That is a great hack to figure out how much can you spend, because it's your money, right? You get your $1,500 in your savings account, you can tap it at any time, but that's how you feel what a mortgage payment could be.
That's I love that advice. I am subscribed to all of those things, so and I don't know how to pick which one. That's a side note, but no, I really do love that, because that's another argument for just starting the conversation and thinking about it early on, because then you can start gauging how it feels, and then maybe it's not so overwhelming. Maybe it's entirely overwhelming and you're like, this isn't for me right now. But maybe your dreams are closer than you think.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thanks for joining me, Jolene. It was such a pleasure having you here. And again, I'm Adam Foley. I sell real estate around the Puget Sound. I'm here with Jolene Messmer with Movement Mortgage. Feel free to reach out anytime. We love talking about this stuff.